America. Break your backs for dollars, they don't carry ya. 7,000 miles away from home with language barriers. Land of opportunity, tell me is it good to you? But 6 feet deep on stolen land is where they bury in November 1991. Papa came here with a wife, 2 daughters, no money, but they wanted them a better life. Peaceful to their name, so they piecing up the pain. Ain't no peace in the position as an immigrant is praying for a piece of the Americana pie or for the cream. To a piece of dream they sold you, but it only was a dream. For a piece of mind to thinking that my mama could be seen as an equal, not a foreign immigrant or in between. I was a kid in the sky, nothing but dreams in her eyes, hoping that we would survive. But mama, those were the times. They telling us compromise, they always feeding us lies, made to believe I don't exist unless.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll wait a few more minutes. So maybe a couple more people trickle in. The artist is Ruby Ibarra, the rapper, the line rapper from the Bay Area. I'm never looking down. I do it for myself till the end to hold it down. And even when I'm sinking, I'm never looking down. I do this for myself till the end to hold it down, yeah.
Mama will make it in America. Mama will make it in America. Yeah, mama will make it in America. I swear, yeah. Mama will make it in America. Mama will make it in America. Yeah, mama will make it in America. I swear, yeah.
Feeling homesick as we go. Mama's never really home, cause she working all alone. Living broke, we need a loan. Papa threatened mama's life. Papa left with no goodbye. Promised to myself inside, no man will ever make me cry. Now I'm thinking that I'm grown. All I wanna do is roam, running far away from home. In the crowd, I feel alone. Mama, she be working late. Lines are showing on her face. Too much pressure on her plate. I'm too selfish to relate. Auntie says stay in your home. Might get darker cause you prone. Look into the mirror, oh, Filipino blood and bones. Questioning my skin and tone like I should be embarrassed though. Whiter skin is seen as gold. This is what we're always told. Mama said to learn the race. Every day you emulate till identity erased. Overcome by inner hate. Teacher said to hide my tongue. They don't understand me none. Hold my breath, these foreign lungs too powerful. They lack a gun. I'm correcting mama's words. I'm embarrassed when she slurs. What makes me better than her? This language wasn't her first. Ruby, can you get a grip? Find a balance to my slip. Mom and Donna need you quick. Stop thinking that you the shit. 7,000 miles from home, but a million more to go. Gotta make it on my own. I can feel I'm getting close. 7,000 miles from home, but a million more to go. Gotta make it on my own. I can feel I'm getting close.
Mama will make it in America. Mama will make it in America.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all. Apologies again for the confusion. Just a little background on myself if you haven't met me. I teach in 4 different departments. I learn different schedules every semester. I'm upcoming with my 4th year right now, teaching at SF State and City College. So apologies for the confusions. You're probably figuring out your schedules too. And I also have younger kids who are distractions all the time. So if you see my other profile, that's my family, my partner, Princess, my daughter, Nara, she's turning 7 in September, and my son, Fatab, will be turning 2 in May. So a little background. So today, just wanted to I'll review what we're gonna do first. We're gonna do a cultural energizer, getting to know each other a little. Then we're gonna do a reflection video, and then talk about some of the material last week, especially on the video on strike, and then go over this idea of no history, no self around the material that we read this week, and then reminders and announcements at the end. So, how's that sound for folks? Okay.
So we take notes here.
What was the question?
So we take notes here.
You can take notes.
Okay.
Some people like to listen and then reflect later. Some people like to write notes during the lecture. If this is your first time, this class is pretty interactive. I don't lecture the whole hour 15. There's some discussion and some activities. So you might be caught up doing some of that stuff. So cool. So the first thing we're going to do today is a scavenger hunt. I'll give you a couple minutes to find something in, I guess, your close vicinity that kind of represents who you are as a person. A picture, a book, an artifact, whatever you think represents you. I'll give you a couple minutes or so to find it in your room or in your house or your apartment. So have fun with it, and we'll see you in a minute or so. Grab it. Picture is a common thing. A pet. Some people have brought pets. Yeah, just whatever you feel comfortable sharing about yourself at this moment, so we all get a sense of who you are individually, and then maybe there's some commonalities amongst you all in this class. Let's see. And if you can, please put your video. Would love to see your lovely face. I know some people might have internet challenges. I am sympathetic to that. And I believe when you turn off your video, it takes less bandwidth. So let me know, but hopefully everyone's okay. Does everyone have their stuff, their item? And then there's about 14, 12 of us right now. So I'm just gonna go for those who are ready. There's some people still kind of looking for stuff. I'll kind of put you at the end. So who's ready? Just say your name and what your item is.
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Nancy.
So this pen represents my writer spirit.
You're right.
And
okay.
Yes, I'm a writer. And this this lunchable represents my my love for food.
Everybody loves food. Cool. What do you like to write about?
Fiction stuff and some poetry.
Cool. Maybe if you feel brave enough, you'll share with us someday.
Yeah, sure. Let's find it.
Right now?
When do you want me to do it?
It's okay. Maybe
at the end of class?
End of the semester, you get to share. But I'll
okay.
two people today. Who wants to go next? Thank you, Nancy. Go. I'll just call people if you don't want to. Okay. Carolyn.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carolyn. Good to be with you. This is my first week. I'm still kind of catching up on stuff. But I'm going to share actually a couple of things right here. I'm going to show you, I kind of have my altar kind of next to me to kind of keep me grounded, but I'll pick one thing. I'll pick two things from there. First is my water bottle with my Panay Power sticker and my Isang Bagsak one down sticker on my favorite color, orange. And my next is I'm a physical educator by training from San Francisco State. So anyway, this is a SIPA, which is a Filipino, like a hacky sack, like a foot sack that I made myself with just YouTube videos or something. They teach you how to make it. But anyway, I'm not generally not a very creative person, but that's why I'm proud of this. So this is my sipa. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Who's next? Kiana.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I decided to choose this fruit bowl for my item. It might look really familiar to some of you guys, but this fruit bowl has been in my family like since I was born. And it's like I've known it for a very long time. It even has like a crack on the side. But um, it's just very Filipino to me whenever I see it. And it just looks like home. So yeah, being at my aunt's house, seeing this just reminds me of culture and all the fruits that's always inside of it. But yeah,
Cool.
and I don't know what it's called, so
The
just putting
bowl
that up.
or the figure?
The figure and the bowl in Tagalog, I am not sure, but I'm sure there's a name for it.
I'm gonna ask him
But yeah, all right.
or auntie. Tita.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not
Uh,
fluid in Tagalog, so I can't help you on the
yeah,
language.
me neither. I only understand it, but I mean I'll get further later on. But thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kiana. Zabidi, you there?
My item is a MIDI controller.
Can you
I
speak
produce.
to the mic?
I'm a producer. Um, is my mic not working?
It's very faint.
Hold up. Let me try to put it up real quick. Is that better?
Yeah.
You guys hear me? Awesome. Sounds good. So this is a MIDI controller. I'm a producer, so I make music, and I've like been surrounded by music my whole life. So yeah, this.
Cool. Thank you, Zabidi. AJ.
Hey. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I have this little guy right here. I don't know if you guys can see. It's the mini Sasuke. Got this from a friend in Japan, and yeah, it's one of the first mini figurines that I have, and yeah, it's just a really cool looking one. I've been a Sasuke fan my whole life ever since he was introduced to the anime a long time ago, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, AJ. Mariko.
So I have this little plant that sits on my desk. Um, it's just a very small representation of all of the other plants that litter my house. And it's kind of just like what I sit and stare at whenever I need to like take a deep breath or just like step away from whatever I'm working on and just remind myself about nature. Like we haven't been able to be outside a whole lot. So it's really like what I focus on when I'm feeling like I need to get out of the house or like out of my study zone.
Thank
That's
you.
it.
E-boy.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm E-Boy. And what I have for you guys today is my skateboard. And it's a bit beat up. And in the front, I drew a graphic of an anime character I really like.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, I skate, but I also do a lot of things. If you could tell, my room has a lot of stuff. Like right here, there's plushies, there's a guitar there.
Yeah.
But I feel like skateboarding is where I'm truly like free, I guess. Like it's just really fun. It's where I have the most fun with. And yeah, I'm not that good at skating, but it's fun.
Cool. Thank you, E-boy. Joshua.
So I picked my water bottle um, from a music festival I went to. Put a lot of stickers on there, so I think it like shows a lot of like all the stuff that I really like. Like Spider-Man was always my favorite hero. Favorite rap album, stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you, Joshua. Sarah.
So for me, I didn't have time to go and find my camera, but I really love taking pictures and just like wherever I go, I like to remember it. And so I just use my phone as an example. I'm a very nostalgic person, so I always love looking back on the memories, and I feel like that kind of makes me who I am. I'm always, looking back at all the great memories I've had and who it's made me become. So that's what I chose for something that represents me.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah. Mia.
Hi. I didn't really know what to choose. I have one of my medals. I play volleyball, and this was from the last championships we played. Um, I really like the sport, and I feel like that's when I have the most passion or like something that I definitely care about.
Mhm. Thank you, Mia. Toshio. You there?
Hey, um, I just quickly, I don't know, this, I feel like this does not totally represent me. It's like more aspirational. This is a picture of my great grandfather came to the
Toshio, your
US
video.
through Mex. Oh, sorry. No video?
You didn't have one initially. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, right on. This is my great grandfather. Basically, my parents, my grandparents, like tried really hard to assimilate as Japanese Americans, and so like I didn't get much knowledge about him and his life until more recently, and I'm like in my mid-30s, so I want to learn more about that part of my life. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Toshio. Jeff.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Cool. All right, so I don't know if y'all can see, I have this Instant Pot cook. I'm not gonna bring like my actual Instant Pot pressure cooker. I don't want to like carry that thing, but yeah, basically I like how effective it is in cooking. It's like lazy. I don't know if it counts, but like I enjoy it. Learn different recipes that way. I like to make Japanese chicken curry. Made sinigang, which is like a sour soup for those who are not familiar. I'm gonna make chicken frittata, which is like a type of stew. And then I got this jersey when I visited family in the Philippines. It's like a barangay or like a village unit league. And yeah, it just reminds me of family, and I like to wear it over a black hoodie, and it's pretty dope. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Jeff. Who am I missing? Jericho? You there? Jericho, can you hear us? Or my mic doesn't work. Okay. Maybe you could share on the Zoom something about yourself, and then we'll just read it, and then I'll have it there for folks to kind of refer to. And then just want to appreciate everyone sharing something about you. Looking forward to learn more about you in many different aspects. It seems like you all have different interests, inspirations, talents. And I think bringing all this personal experience into the class will be very helpful in terms of trying to understand what it means to be Filipinx American. And for those who aren't Filipino, kind of get a deeper understanding of folks here in this class and how they kind of define or identify themselves. Cool. Hopefully that was a fun activity. Thumbs up if you like it. I'm assuming you did it in the class before. So let's So the next thing, sometimes I like to start the class off with a music video. And you were listening to Ruby Bar earlier. She is a Bay Area native. She's a rapper, hip hop artist, and she talks about a lot of different things. But in this particular video, I want you to kind of listen and kind of see how she kind of portrays or represents what it means to be Pinay. So has anyone seen this video before? 1, 2, okay, got a couple people. All right. And then in the Zoom chat, please maybe write down something that stuck out to you in the video. Okay. Come on, technology. Is it working? Okay, cool.
Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Isang bagsak. Yo, fuck a story arc if it don't involve no matriarch. Some mothers work from the ground up, they craft in air like ATR with the butterfly sleeves. Naka-Philippine Ghana, pag nagsalita mga banat ay bala. Wag magtaka kung ako ay makatabulok na sistema. Kurakot sa pera, bagsak. But we put in our heart into darkness. They putting these pigs in the office. Or you thinking you schooling but you hella lost cause you best see the boss while atop this. But look at my ate, she moving so cold. Can't hold a candle to her when she glow. Flick at the wrist with the ilaw she hold. Panago sa ilaw, she dripping in gold.
We pulling up in a jeepney. All of my soldiers greet me. Hand me bandanas and pull back my hammer. It's warfare when you see me. Skin you alive for my country. I live and die for my country. I kill a pig in a white hooded suit on the low for my country. They got evil plans in the devil's hands, but I don't pray cause I organize. They got new ways to impose strength, but I teach mine how to mobilize. We don't fight for the money, for the greedy, for the white man. All we want is our freedom and the right to live on our motherland.
Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Isang bagsak. Goddess of guerrilla warfare in every lifetime. We don't take no shit except an oppressor's lifeline. If you step out of your line, I will protect what's mine. Kahit merong rosaryo, sino magliligtas sa'yo? Puro dugo, pugot ulo, mulat sa dagat hanggang mundo. Proclaiming what's ours, the high and the low. These women are gods, you already know. We're deeper than water that run in a village. The river runs red, you'll be dead in a minute. Like Nevis Fernandez, have you beheaded? Fuck with my tribe, quickly regret it. Abani ko sa kamay, at isang mikropono sabay. At ang tapang ko, gaya ng inay. At halimaw nang sumasabay. Mga bara nyo lahat sablay. Mga rappers na puro bangkay. Tinamaan ko lahat patay. Kaya walang mag-iingay. I got that Filipino phenotype. Kayo monkey mestizo white. But give me that moreno like that Rufio Aquino type. My lolas they be speaking like those Bali songs and bolo knife. I breathe the ether, need no hype. Two tongues are sharper with the mic. I need no in my history life. From a land where greed is weaving tight. They thieve until when peace or might. Just turn to see no light. Hacienda like Aquino, right? Rodrigo vigilante type. They kill my titos left and right. With smoke and mirrors fill the night.
So let it be known, if you don't already, Pinays have always been part and parcel, if not imperative and critical to the struggle. Filipinos are no strangers to wielding our own power. Of all the privileges that exist in this world, none of which you may be a benefactor of, there is at least one you bear, and that is the privilege of having been born a Filipina. over 500 years of resistance and survival. And when you are ready, sis, we'll be right here. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Island woman rise, walang makakatigil. Brown, brown woman rise, alamin ang iyong ugat. They got nothing on us, nothing on us, nothing on us. Isang bagsak.
Okay, so that was Ruby Ibarra. And in the video, kind of reveals aspects of our history and culture, for sure. And I think I asked you all to write something in the Zoom chat what kind of stuck out to you. Or if you want to share right now verbally, that would be great. Anyone want to kind of reflect upon the video and how aspects of it kind of represent our history, our culture?
What was the question?
What stuck out in the video that kind of represents Filipino history or culture?
I feel like the costumes they wore could be one of those.
Some of the dresses that they wore come from different indigenous tribes throughout the Philippines, from north to south. And we'll learn about some of those tribes this semester. Kiana.
Hi. The traditional candle dance really like stuck out to me. I remember doing that when I was younger, and I had to do that for school in the Philippines. And at the end of the dance, you're supposed to blow out your candle, and the girl next to me didn't blow hers out, so I blew it out for her. And I got really in trouble for it. But yeah, that's like the one thing that really stuck out to me.
Thank you for sharing, Kiana. So it looks like we have some artists, dancers, musicians in this class, which is great. Carolyn put something, my favorite line, alamin ang iyong ugat, know your roots. Did you want to elaborate or explain?
Yes, it's just my favorite. Like, well, that whole song is my favorite. I'm still trying to memorize the call to action with that. But yeah, I actually really like the violent images, the strong, like violent images in there, because I think it goes counter to what, especially in America, how women generally, but specifically Asian women are perceived, I think, as demure or soft or quiet. And so I just really love that, like, in your face sort of this unapologetic thing. So that's my favorite. And then of course the know your roots. I have a little anecdote about it, because I was in a small high school, as I was a moderator for the Phil-Am Club, all girls in the Phil-Am Club, and we even got the girls worked on getting this video shown to the whole school during an assembly, and even anticipated the principal saying, oh, it has like cuss words in it. And they even prepared a rationale for that, based on, based on why they should show it. So I just love it. It just means so much to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. So in this video, yes, there's a very strong voice for women. We as a small Philippine society really valued actually women's roles in the society. They were matriarchs to a lot of the barangays there. and it kind of changed after colonization. So we'll kind of talk about that too, and how we weren't all passive. Some of us did fight. And we'll kind of explain that historically to retain our culture and history, our languages. So thank you, Carolyn. All righty. Kind of just wanted to talk about this on strike video last week. It spoke about the importance of Asian American studies and the role of students fighting for culturally relevant classes like the one you're taking right now. So we are very privileged to have this course. Not all campuses have this course, and it took, you could say, blood, sweat, and tears for students to fight for many of these courses. And in the Zoom chat, if you can share one, I guess, moment in the video that kind of just stuck out to you. Kind of want to see what you think was important in that.
I have one.
You have one, Nancy. Go ahead.
Okay, so the part that stuck out to me was when Ronald T said, if they're gonna fire, if they're gonna hold on. If they're gonna okay.
Summarize it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, if they're gonna reject the students, and they're gonna have to reject him too as a teacher too, because like he's passionate about ASAM, and he says he's putting his job on the line to help the students get the class they need.
So yes, people took very, let me explain it, not extreme, pretty strong stances on ensuring that these classes exist, putting their jobs on the line, and for some their lives. And I think it took struggle for sure to get these classes to happen in the Asian American Studies Department, African American Studies Department, Latinx American Studies Department, all the different communities of color that we don't necessarily see in our American history books. And there's a reason why that existed. And I think it's important to see our faces, our histories, people who look like us in these positions for sure. Anyone else in the Zoom chat or verbally? One more moment.
I have, it's Carolyn again. I was wondering, that was the first time I've seen that video. I've seen a lot of videos around the San Francisco State student strikes and some other pieces of archival material about it, but that's the first time I've seen that specific one at Berkeley. And I thought of a couple things. First of all, like, I know some of those people who they interviewed are still around, right? Like Harvey Dong he owns Eastwind Bookstore there in Berkeley. And but I was trying to look to see where the other people are at these days, because I bet they're still fiercely doing this stuff, being activists. And then another thing that struck me was when one of the hunger strikers, the white female, when she said, "This is the best class I've ever taken at Berkeley." And I thought that was really cool, meaning the actual strike, like the actual participation in there. And that to me kind of summarized like what education is and what it should be for. So I thought that was, that really struck me. Thank you.
So yes, these folks are still around. They're here in the Bay Area for sure. This video kind of represented the movement over time. That's why I kind of focused on this one. There's a lot of documentaries actually on the student strike at SF State, but also it was broader than SF State. There's a lot of students organizing throughout the nation around issues in the community and relevant in education in their institutions. So, thank you, everyone. And just want to put this quote out there. Liberating education consists in active cognition, not transferals of information. So the reason why I picked this quote is education, hopefully this semester, is a liberating process. We're going to learn about ourselves and others around us. And I think it's not just learning information, but how it kind of relates to us and how it's significant to each of us, and how it can uplift us in whatever situation we're in. So, and the strike, the student strike, the civil rights movement, they were fighting against a lot of different injustices, issues of racism, sexism, heterosexism, and classism. So in this class, we're gonna kind of talk about these terms because how do we understand the situations in our communities? How do we understand inequality that exists and why maybe our history and culture isn't represented or talked about in the broader American society? We've come a long way since the 60s, and we can see a lot of those victories in fruition as we see politicians and community advocates out there making change on the ground. So about 20 minutes, kind of wanted to go over these terms. Racism, what is it? It's just a working definition. I just wanted to start off with an understanding of it. It's an individual, cultural, and institutional beliefs and discrimination that systematically oppresses people of color, Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and Asians. Sexism is individual, cultural, and institutional beliefs that discriminate systematically oppressing women. Heterosexism is a belief that heterosexuality is the only normal and acceptable sexual orientation, now encompassing the individual cultural and institutional beliefs and discrimination that systematically oppresses lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or LGBTQ people. And finally, classism. Again, discrimination that assigns differential value to people according to their socioeconomic status, creating this inequality and causes the basic human needs to be go unmet. So I know I kind of brushed through these very quickly, but I want you to kind of be introduced to these terms. They might be raised in our conversations, and they'll for sure be deepened in terms of its explanation. Some of us experience it differently or have a different understanding, or we might have actually a common understanding of these particular concepts that play out in our day-to-day. So just to keep that in mind and how we're going to frame looking at our community. So, anyone know who this person is? Jeff, would you like to read the quote?
Yeah. No history, no self. No history, no self. He who does not know how to look back at where he came from will never get his destination.
What does that mean to you, Jeff?
What it means is that it's important to understand who we are, and especially like how we got to where we are today, right? Especially with our ancestors and the conditions that led them to where they got to be, so that way we can learn how we got to where we are and what we can do to address those conditions and the root issues, and then move forward to bettering ourselves and making a better situation for us and then posterity as well.
Thank you, Jeff. And I think in this class, I was able to review some of your posts. this is the first class you've ever taken in terms of Filipino American experience class course. Some folks, it's probably the first attempt, I guess, to learn about their history and the culture. And I think throughout the semester, we're going to go through a journey to understand this history and how it kind of informs how our lives are today. And then how do we act upon what we've learned today to really highlight our wonderful culture, our history, and very powerful community that we do or that we're part of. So just put that into context. I was gonna break you into groups so you get to work with each other. So we got 15 minutes. So I think I could do this activity as a whole class, and hopefully folks are open to share their opinions. But I'm gonna show you some pictures, and in this class, we're gonna kind of discuss what's happening in the picture or how it represents Filipino history and culture. So kind of like what do you know about, I guess, history and culture? What do folks think this is a picture of?
The language maybe, or how they write the language.
Okay, anyone know what it's called? You don't need to know, but this is why we're here. Go ahead, I heard someone.
Oh, babayan.
Oh, babayan. So we, as a Philippine nation, had our own language and our own script before colonization, and this is a representation of that. We'll go, I think there's, I guess, a misconception like, what do we speak or what do we say? What kind of, I guess, written language did we have back in the day? We'll go into this semester. Not in depth, but we'll be introduced to it for sure. Next one. What is this?
Saranai?
What's that?
Saranai? Saranai? Saranai?
Can you explain?
I think. All I know is I have a frame for it and I need to get the gongs now, but it's a musical instrument.
So in the Philippines, we have the kulintang. It's like a gong instrument influenced by Chinese culture. That we did have music. So we have a language, a written script, and we also had music before what we understand is the Philippines today. So some of the stuff you still can hear in different parts of the Philippines, especially in the southern part of the Philippines. Let's see, next, ice cream. Okay, not sure who put ice cream. What is this for those folks? I'm assuming you all know.
Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Yeah. Santa Nino, yes. Why? I guess why is he part of our history and our culture? So
Because he's
obviously
flashy.
very flashy. So in our history, in the Philippine history, we were colonized by Spain for almost 400 years, and obviously they gave us, I guess, the Catholic religion. And I'm assuming most of you are probably Catholic or Christian. I grew up in a Catholic household, maybe like some of you all. I don't practice right now, but I do agree with a lot of the things that Jesus represented and what he spoke for, and especially when it's talking about fighting for those communities of struggle, communities who are marginalized or oppressed. So, yes. Next. What is this? the guys might wear it. Well, girls are wearing it too these days, but back in the day.
Is that the barong?
Yes, so the barong is, I guess, a formal wear that Filipinos wear, or yeah, that they wear, usually during, I don't know, special events. It's where we are now. But historically, as we see, it's a very translucent type of shirt, I guess, or blouse. It was made by the Spanish so they could see if we're carrying knives or arms under it. So that's a little history about the barong. What is this?
A gun.
A gun, correct. So the Colt 45 was actually created during the Spanish or the Philippine-American War because it's an upgrade to a gun that they had before. The guns that they had didn't stop the Filipinos during that war, couldn't stop them in their tracks, but they created something even more stronger to basically kill them. So this was an American-made gun to, I guess, to cater towards the war in the Philippines back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So that's the Colt 45. And then, assuming a lot of y'all know what this is. Some of y'all might have rolled one if you've been back to the Philippines. Anyone?
It's the jeepney.
The jeepney. The jeepney is our form of transportation in the Philippines. It's actually reminiscences of US militarization in the Philippines. This is like their scrap metal that was left. And now, since we as Filipinos are very innovative, we take what we get, make something very beautiful out of it, and here something very practical, get us around, and something that kind of reflects our culture in many, many different ways. So, cool. Well, we got 10 minutes. Let's toss one quick. So those are pictures that kind of symbolize aspects of our history and culture. I just kind of want to introduce those because oftentimes those images are the first thing that some Filipinos kind of refer to. I didn't even refer to the food yet, but those, I guess, things that we think in terms of historic, like the jeepney or like the barong, kind of represent the past. And some of you may this is the first time like being introduced to some of these things. And hopefully you were able to learn, I guess, a fun fact from these things. Cool. How many islands are there in the Philippines? Who knows?
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
50.
Not even close.
It's 7,100 plus.
Correct, on low tide. So, so there are 7,100 estimated islands on low tide. I think you could see the diversity within the Philippine nation, the different regions. As you know, there's various dialects in the Philippines. Some of you might speak Tagalog, some of you might speak Ilocano, some of you might speak Visayan. So I think this kind of shows that as a community, we come from a very rich country with different traditions, different yummy food, and also a history that we need to uncover. And I can't uncover all these different regions this semester, but hopefully it kind of opens your eyes to kind of look back in your own region where your parents come from. And where does the name of the Philippines come from? Anyone know?
Is it King Philip?
King Philip. So under, okay, everyone's saying it. Anyone want to explain why we're named after a king?
Because he colonized the area.
So under Spanish colonization, they decided to call their territory that they were going to take over for all the different resources, like all the different crops that they had in the Philippines, and I guess call it their
Fish.
fish, all the different types of natural resources that a lot of European countries were looking abroad in terms of trade. So we could see how colonization, how colonization really plays out even in the name of our country. So cool. So the point of me kind of bringing up these images of the Philippines kind of already states that we are a nation that has been colonized for 400 plus years with the Spanish, with the US, and with Japan. And you're wondering, oh, what did society look like before then? Obviously, we as a nation didn't necessarily just start as people when they came over, but we had languages, we had a history before that. And in the readings, you'll see that we had a pre-colonial type of philosophy. This idea of optimism, forward-looking, respecting nature, this open-mindedness, a balance in life, polycentricism, which, as we see, there's many, many different regions in the Philippines that all of them probably organize themselves in different ways in terms of leadership, in terms of maybe laws, and how their day-to-day lives look like. And
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What does pre-colonial philosophy mean again?
Pre-colonial. So what philosophy is like how do we see the world?
Right.
And name it. But pre-colonial is kind of understanding what life looked like in the Philippines before Spanish, American, and Japanese.
Being colonized.
Yes. So.
Okay, I get it now. Thank you.
Thanks for the question, Nancy. So I really want to point out how we, as a Philippine society, I guess, we had our own. We had, we existed for many, many decades. We developed political, social, and economic ways of being in the Philippines. And I think because of colonization, some of that stuff has been silenced or forgotten. And different parts of the Philippines before colonization, we looked at this side, it was more egalitarian. People weren't necessarily trying to, I don't know, own people or treat people unfairly or unequally. They got along in some level. This kind of reflects, like earlier with Ruby's video, the matriarchal society in the Philippines that is often dismissed or forgotten. And we probably see in our own families how the women are very strong and powerful, and they pretty much rule the household and them around the communities around us. So I want to kind of recognize that history because colonization kind of has taken it away from us.
So before colonization, the women were the head of the household?
Or the tribe, or the barangay. Yes.
Got it.
I got 5 minutes, but because of colonization, basically created this unequal relationship between the native population and those who basically became the ruling elite under Spanish and American and Japanese colonization. So we'll go into that in the next couple weeks. And I'll end off with Strobel's book. I hope everyone is either purchasing it soon. I did upload some of the initial chapters for y'all while you get it. So the long colonial history between the US and the Philippines, and one of its many consequences for Filipinos is the psychic and epistemic violence that has been ongoing process of undoing and unlearning. So here Strobel kind of talks about the negative impacts of colonization for Filipinos. And obviously it's a process of undoing and learning what the Spanish, what the Americans kind of taught us as Filipinos. And in the US, I kind of want to, trying to rush the last 2 minutes. I wanted to highlight Professor Dama Balan. She is also another academic. She passed I believe a couple years ago. She was a historian in our community, and she kind of speaks on a lot of the struggles of Filipinos here in the United States, especially in the Stockton area. And for her, she sees that there's a new generation of scholars out there that are trying to challenge these colonial pasts, and how it kind of defines us, but how we also redefine it ourselves. Got a minute. Kind of want to touch on this. Sorry, I'm rushing to end, but in this class, I think it's important that to delve into the material, to understand it. We should kind of not just read it, but if we are able to teach it, that means we've had a strong grasp of it. And I feel like when the information comes from your peers, you kind of hear it in a different light or in a more engaging way. So in this class, people will be grouped up into 2 to 3 students, and they'll do a short 15-minute video presentation about the readings of the week. You're probably wondering, how is that going to play out? I think since it doesn't start till week 6, we'll kind of situate all those details next week. But I just want you all to keep that in mind, that we're going to be doing these presentations. Questions?
Next week, right?
Yeah. No, I don't want to rush it, or I just want to inform you. It is in week 6, but I'll figure that out next week. And all right, how are folks feeling right now? It's week 2.
I like this class.
You like this class? Thank you, Nancy. Anyone else? Appreciate you, Nancy.
Me too.
You too. I don't know who that was. Was that you, boy? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the first couple weeks. Hopefully, when I took these classes in my community college, it kind of opened my eyes up to certain things that my parents didn't necessarily teach me. So I took it upon myself to learn this history and this culture, and hopefully you're able to take on that same approach in terms of understanding yourselves too. And there are some readings for next week. So for those who weren't here last week, there's always some type of readings and some type of forum. So the forum is there to hopefully help you reflect upon the reading and also engage in other students in their conversation in relation to these readings. And these are the readings for next week. Please get your books. There is a forum discussion and there is a quiz. It's multiple choice around the readings. So question.
Next week, right?
It's next week. I'm just,
the quiz is next week.
So,
okay. So the grouping and quiz is next week, basically.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. You're welcome.
But that's all I got for you for this week. Hopefully you're excited about learning all the different things we talked about today. It was just a short introduction of what we're going to delve into. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all enjoy your week, and I'll hang out for a second if you have questions. I don't want to keep you too long because it's already 2 minutes after class. Oh wait, no it's not.
Bye.
I still got 10 minutes.
Oh. Okay.
But the class is over. I'll hang out for 10 minutes if you have questions. So I'm used to teaching this class from like 2 to 3:15. That's why I'm way off right now. But
okay. Yeah, I thought we were going till 3:25.
I know. We got what?
Whoa, you're letting us out early.
I'm letting you out early. I'll hang out for folks who have questions. But yeah, I usually should end at 3:25. That ain't Filipino time. Yes, I know. Usually, you know how we say goodbyes for like 30 minutes?
Real.
I think that's happening right now, but yeah, we're really off in terms of time, but we could explain that why that exists in our community for sure.
Okay. Well, then if I can, if we have a 1 minute, can I make a plug for if
Sure.
if people haven't gotten their book yet, I'd like to suggest getting it from the Center for Babaylan Studies. It's in stock there instead of, if you're an anti-Amazon person, there's another option. And it's on there. I put it in the chat.
In the chat? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you
please.
need
Thank you
Chegg?
all.
Locally.
Caroline, do you need Chegg?
What's that?
What was it?
Caroline, do you mean like Chegg or stuff like that?
A check. I think you could do PayPal or credit card on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could buy at the Babaylan Center. There's also a bookstore in the South of Market, Archipelago.
Ooh, do they have it in stock?
I actually haven't checked in with Lily. But Amazon, oh yeah, Amazon another option, but yeah. It's on ebook already if you like reading on your screen all day. But yeah. Thank you for the plug, Carolyn. Other announcements, I guess. I do provide time for announcements if you have something important to say in terms of what's going on in the world, or maybe there's events that you want people to know. Alrighty. I'm done.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye, folks.
See you.
Hi, everyone.
See you all on Monday.
Thank you.
Wait, it's not Monday, Wednesday. It's only Monday.